Path of Night, Brine and Blood is an actual play Hunter the Reckoning podcast set in the world of darkness. We're all friends, we're here to have fun, but our story can include graphic violence, drug use, sexual content, and other mature themes. Content warnings can be found in the show notes. We talk at our table about safety, comfort, and consent both as players and storytellers. We know what to expect, we're all excited to be here, we want you to feel the same. So listener discretion is advised. Now let's take back the night.
I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep. Oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Oh God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Excerpt from A Dream Within a Dream by Edgar Allan Poe. Last time on Brine and Blood. The hunters drove out into the marshes of northern Rhode Island with Griggs, the dead man going along with Dallas's reassurance that his new companions could help the situation. As the rot turned more unstable, his darker half taking over and relishing in the dead man's suffering and guilt, the Imbued were left with one choice: put Griggs down for good. Having dumped his body in the marsh, the circle of Imbued drove off into the night to regroup and discuss what comes next. Dallas, you step out of the convenience store attached to this premium oil station, fresh pack of Morley lights in your hand, and see some of the others, after what happened with Griggs, are inside. Some are filling up the cars with gas. It's getting late, it's dark, and just the sort of fluorescent lights of the station are on, keeping the darkness at bay.
Dallas kind of keeps a good distance from where Pheia is standing and slaps his pack against his palm 5 times. It's his ritual, making sure those things are packed nice. Pops one out into his mouth and lights it. This station, it's been here for a while, but he looks up at that sign. It's Endron now. Endron gas.
Yeah.
Is that new?
Yeah, so they hadn't changed some signs. Maybe there was an old layover. There are old stations out here that kind of keep the vintage signs sometimes just for sort of aesthetics or feel or out of sheer laziness. You know, it hasn't been premium oil in God knows how long. But definitely an Endron station. An Endron run station with some old unreplaced signs.
Kind of just shakes his head at that. Probably wouldn't even cross his mind, but now it's just like he's seeing that shit everywhere now.
Pheia is standing upwind of Dallas's smoke, but she calls down to him. Once you're finished with that, if you're hungry, I've got some beer bread, if you want some.
What the hell is beer bread?
You've never had beer bread?
No?
You need to be friends with more old people who do baking.
But that should explain it right there, right? Like, obviously.
So, beer bread, it's kind of a sweet bread, but you throw some beer into the batter while you're baking.
Okay.
It's great. I have when you work at a museum, you meet a lot of old people who are looking for surrogate grandkids. And occasionally, they make sure you're eating enough. And you come home and there's just baked goods on your table. So, Fanny made sure that I had some beer bread on my table. So, would you like some beer bread?
Yes, Pheia, I would like some beer bread, thank you.
Okay, then smoke up and come over and have some beer bread.
Insinuate an old lady broke into your apartment to deliver you baked goods?
She has a key. Most of my surrogate grandparents have a key in case I have an asthma attack.
Do y'all hunt with her a lot?
Fanny?
No, the rest of you guys. Do you hunt with Pheia a lot?
John's pulling the truck out from where the gas pumps were, over off to the side so that he's getting out of the way and hearing the question as he pulls up. No, mostly just Todd in this area, a few others, but first time with Pheia.
Pheia, do you always bring beer bread to the hunts you go on?
I always bring food, so I don't have to spend money on the roadside and get a grinder at a gas station or something.
That's pretty awesome.
Thank you. I'm actually not that much more experienced than you, Dallas.
Fair enough. Well, it's a little weird, but I like the fact that you bring baked goods. So, thank you.
And she'll hand out beer bread to whoever wants some.
Niyati, or rather Nat, as the group knows her, is off finishing filling up the car. She had popped in and grabbed some snacks earlier. They're in a bag, tucked beneath her arm. She gets that gas cap on, approaches. What's in the bread?
It's just standard issue bread, and I think she used one of the stouts that our coworker makes.
Sounds good.
She will offer Nat a hunk of the beer bread.
Not now. I'd wash my hands first, but thank you.
Sure thing. I'll save you some.
Well, I think we've got some snacks and we gotta get a destination chosen, yeah?
So, what is the plan? What do we, You said we gotta meet up with one of your people?
Yeah, he's still inside. We got everyone that I think is coming.
Okay.
Todd comes out of the bathroom and, hiding a limp, he sort of picks up, this little egg salad sandwich and a Nutrigrain bar and a Slim Jim and a couple of bottles of water, and just kind of like dumps it all at the register, finishes his purchase, and then heads on out. Oh, and he gets a one of the little, like, on the run, like, to go packs of Tylenol. So he gets some, like, minor painkillers after washing his face and hands, and he comes out. He heads over to John's car and sort of dumps all of the bits he bought and starts drinking water, and immediately takes a Tylenol and just leans against the car, kind of hugging his ribs. So, I know I'm a little late, but who was that guy? What just happened?
That was
Griggs.
A man named Griggs that was at the same tower incident that Dallas here was at, out in the ocean.
He didn't make it out there.
He apparently died during the incident.
Dallas's friend, Dallas's coworker.
Incident?
You want to cover the incident, Dallas?
Sure. There's a location out in the Atlantic a ways, probably about 5 hours by boat. It's called Texas Tower 2. I was part of a contracted group through Safe Haven to do some construction work on there. I do, like, underwater welding.
Dangerous.
Yeah, but, lucrative.
Yeah.
Something crazy happened out there, and Texas Tower 2 was attacked by these giant, hulking, slick-skinned monsters with shark teeth.
And I'm thinking that's connected to something that I encountered, but...
During the attack, my buddy Griggs spontaneously grew gills and just didn't make it. I saw him get carried out in a body bag. The company that I was contracted for, Endron, responded to these shark monsters with their own team of tactical mutants. I don't even know what to call them. Full head-to-toe black tactical gear, submachine guns, and the voices, the messengers, whatever you want to call them, just let me know that there is something corrupt to the bone with Endron. They've garnered the attention of the ocean, and these monsters out of the ocean are trying to... I got the feeling they're trying to cleanse this corruption. And there's something going on with these goons that work for Endron. The guys in the black tactical gear with the ST badges on their arms. I saw one of their eyes underneath the goggles. It's inhuman. It's almost like the eyes of a squid or an octopus or something like that. You know that weird hourglass shape they get?
Hey, so I know you were just asked what's happening, and it's been a lot. You're keeping yourself together well. Do you want to do this whole thing here? Somewhere more comfortable?
We could do this wherever, honestly.
I did pick up a place back in Manapawset. Just a house off on the beach. Gives us a place to work out of in the area. We can stay there and come and go.
All right.
When you say picked up,
I purchased it.
You bought a beachfront property?
I've leveraged a beachfront property.
That sounds shady.
I mean, I own it. It's not in great repair right now.
Okay, that's not sounding any more legitimate.
You know, normally there's ground rules for this kind of thing. You're not really supposed to use your actual names. You're not supposed to talk about where you work, where you live. We're not doing a great job of that part right now, and hopefully that doesn't bite us in the ass later.
it depends on how you want to roll it. There are obviously benefits to being guarded about your personal information, but sometimes it's good to lean on each other in this hunt. Things get difficult.
Just when someone gets taken, it tends to hurt.
Where the fuck were you earlier, man?
I was in the hospital.
God damn it.
Kind of like pull up my shirt and it's just the whole side of me is black and blue.
Was a bit of my motivation that we have this conversation elsewhere. Doesn't sound like standing or look like standing is exactly something that's pleasant for you right now.
There really isn't a position that doesn't hurt, so I wouldn't worry too much about it.
That's fair.
Emu oil and wild yam will help with that.
Wild yam?
Yeah.
Get right on that.
Why is it important that it's wild?
It's a different breeding. Like domesticated yam plants don't have the healing properties because they've been bred for like the yield of the crop rather than the other properties that the wild yams have.
Okay.
But yeah, emu oil, also really good for pain. It usually has mentholated action with it too, so it'll actually like cool and feel nice when it's going on.
Okay.
Hard to find a good emu farm around here, but I actually do have a hookup if you want some.
This is just like your whole shtick, huh? Like, you just bring up weird shit all the time, huh?
I mean, kinda. I mean, I work with, like, literally people who just make stuff all the time and remember how things were done.
On.
Hang on, I got some. And she just, pulls out, a little tin.
No. Sorry, man. Griggs was your friend?
Yeah.
Okay. My condolences. I'm sorry that happened. That was really terrible. We obviously can't make that situation necessarily better, but
We're past it at this point.
But there are things we can definitely do to make sure this doesn't keep happening. And it sounds like that's where we're all at, right?
We're
Yeah.
here to get more done.
Okay.
He might not be the only one who met a terrible fate and became a rot.
He's almost certainly not. And I know at this point that whatever's going on, whoever did that, whatever happened with Endron, there's some sort of effort to cover it up. And they're using monsters to do it. And he actually holds his hand out. If I can.
Pheia will hand him the tin of wild yam.
Thank you.
I have the emu oil, too, if you want it.
Sure, yeah. Emu oil, not what I would pack.
She pulls out the tube of mostly used emu oil, but there's still enough left that he can use it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Use what you need. I got a source.
So, you're saying there's something going out in the water?
Yes.
It's not just him saying it. That man that you didn't meet with us. I had met with a man. I came across him. He was in distress. He was trying to get to the ocean. Seemed like I believe he would be some form of probably shark shifter, something like that.
What? Like a fish man?
Well, a man who turns into a shark, but...
I didn't see any people, but I did see the fucking things they turn into, apparently.
It seemed like he had conflict with other shark men. He had mentioned that he was looking for his father. That he thought his father was being kept in a facility. And that there was something maybe about him or about his father, his situation, that was causing the others who could turn into sharks, or however that works, to come at him. But it seems that he's volatile. I mean, volatility happens in multiple different kinds of shifters. It's something that you feel naturally. With most of them, it's a sort of rage that emanates off of them. But that seems like it could be tied in. Some strange facility.
So is are shifters a whole category of monster?
So the most common shifter that a hunter tends to interact with around here would be the wolves.
So shifter as a whole category, a yes then?
It's not so simple. Some of them, it seems more natural. The wolves will talk about... It seems more enmeshed with nature, but there are some shifters who seem to have a less natural origin. I'm not sure how to say it. There are shifters who can turn into animals. There's shifters that can turn into insects. Shifters that can turn into things you would not expect.
So shifting as a whole category is a yes then?
Yes.
If you want to think in that form of categorical.
Yeah. Yes. It is. So he's a fish man.
Seems to be...
His name is Mateo.
Shark shifter.
First name.
Which might be specific. Why don't you recount...
So is this connected to the squid assassin, or is this different?
Right. Well, that's a good question. Because you also ran into some sea creatures, too. It was the octopus with human eyes?
John, you told me that there was nothing going on involving the water. What the fuck?
Well, I was just trying to get us out of the hospital.
No, you could have done both.
Wait,
but anyways.
You saw squid assassins, the ST guys at the hospital?
There are contacts I know who found some unusual circumstances out in the water. And I got them to provide me with the information that they had. And while I was on the road to John, I was Tebow. I was hit hard.
Holy shit.
And shortly after waking up in the hospital bed, much sooner than they expected, there was a squid situation. It was like a body snatching parasitic squid creature.
Seems to be two of them, because the one doctor already had one, and there was then the one that was dropped off.
The one that was delivered to me was meant to either kill me or take me over, possess me. I don't know, but we made it out. But that information that I had was missing now, so they knew I had it. They went to get it, and they were organized enough to get into the hospital, find my room, and make a move on me.
So we're dealing with some kind of crazy evil sharks versus evil squids that's spilling over onto the land? Is that what the fuck this is?
Well, it seems it might be more tied towards Endron.
Well, they seem like they're the evil squids, right?
Well, hang on. There's no guarantee that the sharks are evil. And you said yourself
You're right.
Yes.
Well, you said at the diner that the sharks were in the right.
I think the sharks are part of the natural world. They're part of the ocean trying to purge something. I don't know that they're right. They're just trying to clean up this mess.
Well, they're aware of something, too. Mateo pointed it out, and I think you all can see it right. That red in the sky, the glint that you see sometimes. Maybe, Dallas, you might be new to that feeling, but something's going on with the world.
I mean,
I'm kind of new to everything at this point.
Right. So, where I'm going back is pointing this to Endron, is the fact that Violin specifically pointed us towards Dallas and Brighton Point specifically, which is an Endron-run power facility out in the bay.
I do have an interview there, I think tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the interviews, it's the day after tomorrow. My fucking timeline's all screwy right now. I need to get some sleep.
Brighton Bay's power plant, right?
Yeah, it was an old coal-run power facility for a while. Endron said they were going to clean it up. I don't know if they've actually made any effort there. They seem to have been putting all their attention out to Texas Tower, too.
Okay, but they're still functioning as a power plant, right?
I guess. I actually haven't been to the Brighton Point facility. I just know that's where their headquarters is at.
I believe they are still running as a power plant.
Okay.
Hey, Dallas.
Yeah.
You need a bit more than just a little sleep.
Yeah, you're right. He pulls out another Morley.
Hold off, please.
He takes a few steps back.
That'll work too.
You mentioned that interview, and in honesty, it seems like a good opportunity for us to learn about what's going on, but with what you just went through, that's not a fair ask.
Okay, well, what's the option?
I was to say, I feel like Dallas really stepped up in the whole moment with Griggs there. I'm not sure exactly what you did, but you did something before both myself and Todd did our things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes things, influence you, take you over to a certain degree, but I believe that you knew something had to be done.
Well, it's not really a question of capability. It's the fact that you just lost a friend.
Yeah, I'm sure I can deal with that in a couple of months with a therapist if I survive this whole thing. But right now I feel like there's more pressing matters at hand.
That's fair.
So, I do have a place that is out of the way for us to sleep and stay at. I don't know what people's schedules are at. We should probably see if we can learn anything else more about Brighton before Dallas goes in there. Maybe we could scope it out from the outside and whatnot. Dallas, if you're going in, if you're still thinking about going in, we could always take a look from the inside. I'm not sure who's best to send with you, if at all. Maybe as like a lawyer. You said something about a job offer or something?
Yeah, so the welding work I do on Texas Tower 2 is mostly kind of upper surface stuff. I only go, down with a set of scuba gear to do work underwater, but like mostly near the surface. There are teams that are going deep down into high pressure environments to do work on the base of the tower. Those guys get paid the big bucks, but they're down there for a long time. And coming up out of that kind of high pressure environment is a staged withdrawal that takes usually sometimes days.
Sounds like an ideal place to put people if you don't want people looking at what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, it also sounds like an actual job too, so.
Yeah, in the context of what we're looking at, though, I think mine's a little more...
Well, so here's the things, right? Like, the night everything went down, the night where I was called, or whatever you want to, imbued, whatever the term you're using here, one of the compression divers jumped off the side of the tower. There was something snapped in his head. I saw him right before he jumped. And that's kind of what kicked off the whole madness. And that team of tactical guys came up from the dive bell that normally brings up those compression guys. And it just came up from the deeps. It didn't stop for stages. Like, that'll kill somebody. Like, that's how you get the bends. Like, your blood just starts foaming up and you're fucked. So, I don't actually know what's down under Texas Tower 2, but I feel like it's not actually just an area where the compression divers are working. Unless I was completely going mad. They've got to have some kind of actual facility down beneath under Texas Tower 2 where they can even just house an armory with weapons for a dozen armed men. That's not an insignificant amount of space. Like the dive team doesn't really have a lot of space down there.
I don't know. This might be the Rhode Islander in me, but this is all sounding madness in the sea, and fishmen sounds very Lovecraft to me.
Question. When all of this was going on, what did the messengers show you? Did they tell you anything?
The one thing that I could hear clear as day was the word corrupt. And it wasn't the sharks coming out of the ocean. It was the Endron team coming out of the dive bell.
What was this Endron team? What were they dressed in? What were they geared up with?
Head to toe, all black tactical gear. Not an inch of skin showing.
Okay.
I had to pull when they were taking me off the facility on the boat ride back, I snatched one of their goggles off their face, and that's how I saw those octopus eyes they have.
Todd makes a bit of a face at that. Okay, so they're not totally human, and they've got tack gear all the way out there, so they knew they were going to be running into problems with those sharks. It's like a turf war.
Or a problem with something, at least.
It was jets and sharks. I know it's not the time for jokes, but that was really funny to me.
That's a pretty good one.
Thank you.
This might be an inciting event. Violin was pushing us towards Brighton Point, and maybe they're connected. Maybe they can get to the same underwater facility somehow.
What if they found something there and it's been body snatching? Like those squid situation? It might not just be a tool. That might be who's behind this. So it sounds like we need to get back into one of those facilities.
Well, that's why I'm telling you, I have an interview to actually possibly be on that compression dive team.
I hear you. How do we want to play it?
I've got a possible angle. So I'm a student, PhD. I'm working on a cave and karst study. That includes a lot of geological study, a lot of the applications for a company like that could be very practical. I could feign interest in maybe like a mapping job or something of that sort.
Well, but why make up an attempt to get in when they're just letting me in?
Sure. Do you need people with you?
I mean, if y'all want to, if we want to have someone come with me, I think you can just come with me.
I think the buddy system is in order here. I know I am not the one to go into a system where breathing might be an issue.
My recommendation, John drives you out. John gets a look at the location, see if he can find anything unusual about the place while you're interviewing. You keep a phone on you, call John, leave it in your pocket, phone open, with the call going so that John can monitor everything going on your side. I'm not going to go with you because everything that I'm seeing here indicates that I'm already made. They knew enough to attempt to get rid of me. So if I just show up with you, they may think that they need to get rid of you too, defeating the entire purpose of what we're trying to do.
It's real possible they may be on to me too.
I don't think that they're going to be on to John. I think John's going to be your best choice. John, if you're going to be waiting in the car hanging out, have a +1. And, I'm sorry, what is your name?
I'm going by Nat.
Not?
Nat.
Nat? All right, so sounds like Nat should be in the car with you waiting. Dallas, you go ahead and have the interview. We play it like that. We keep it simple, going eyes open, if you know what I mean.
See what shakes up.
Exactly. Unfortunately, John, I need to go home. There are some people I need to check on to make sure they're okay, considering what just happened with me. Since, like I said, I got that information from people, and I need to check on my dog.
Okay, well, just like was said, I think the buddy system is in order. So who are you taking with you?
Well, my car's out of commission, so whoever can give me a lift is, I guess, who I'm going to go with.
I took the bus.
It's me or Nat at that point.
We could rock, paper, scissors.
We should probably figure out what we're doing tomorrow.
I need to get back home or I'm going to lose my job.
So we need 2 people driving.
I can take the bus. I have a bus ticket. So
Well, if There was a hit placed on you, my man. Maybe we should all drop you off and just check that you're safe there?
Yeah, that's... Why don't you guys bring me close?
Okay.
No offense, I just...
Don't want strangers checking out your place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And
Part of the reason I got the place out of Manaplasa is so that it's a place distance from everything else.
in my experience, it's the things that we share in circles like this that end up biting us later.
If you want me to get any kind of information on the people on the inside, I need to be able to see them, though.
Just go in and ask to use the bathroom.
Well, we can get names of all the people that I'm dealing with, and we can just try to do it the old-fashioned way and just scope them out. Maybe watch them going out to their cars after when the place is closing down.
Possibly. As long as I can get a general sight line on them, I can as long as they're...
Maybe I can talk with them on the interview. Maybe get them to come outside to like.
Even if you get to a untinted window, I should be able to
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
get some sort of information on that.
In theory, with a lot of corporate buildings, someone with a card is going to walk you in, someone with a card is going to walk you out.
We'll see how it goes. If there's a window nearby, I'll try to make reference to the direction I'm looking at.
You gonna need a suit or anything?
I think I'll be all right.
Okay. We should see if we can get any more information about the area. Pheia, it sounds like you're back at work.
I need to be back at work,
It
yeah.
sounds like you talk to a lot of people.
It's nature of the job.
See if you can dig up anything about any weird stuff going on around Brighton Point, maybe.
I mean, I can, but there's also weird stuff going down in Narragansett, too. My buddy Gary worked a shift for me so I could be there the other night, and something's wrong. Something's just wrong. Like, he won't... His house smells bad.
Do you think he's like Griggs?
I don't know. He was rashy. He was trying to get me to go away. He wouldn't let me in the house. And I know that sounds really normal for someone who has a rash and is sick, but not for Gary. I have a hard time getting him to let me leave.
Does he have any oceanic connections?
We both work at a maritime museum.
And
We're both on the demonstration squad. We're out on the ocean every day.
apart from that too, something separate? Something that would have not exposed you, but exposed him to something?
No, he was just supposed to work my shift and never showed up.
Well, if it's your instinct that it has something to do with this, then same logic, buddy system.
It's just JDLR. It just doesn't look right.
Well, I'm perfectly happy to drive people around. I like driving. So, I'll do taxi service and we'll see where I can help. Could help research. Maybe if you want to be careful with your friend, I could see that being a good choice.
Really quick question. And this may be kind of foolish, but two of us have seemingly, well, Todd and Pheia, you guys, if the part of me that's getting paranoid is saying that you guys already got burned and somehow these motherfuckers know about the two of you and they're going after you, if that's the case, are we certain that this violin's on the level? And more importantly, are we sure about this fucking hunter net? Is that on the level?
I trust the hunter net.
What about violin?
Violin has been a proven resource before.
Okay, that doesn't mean they're still a proven resource, right?
Well,
Almost.
No, you're right. Look, things get weird on HunterNet all the goddamn time, and very regularly, Imbued can be compromised. So, yeah, don't entirely trust it. Double check your sources, and don't take shit for granted.
But that being said, I work in the general public wearing a name tag. I am not hard to find.
Right, but I don't think, unless, I mean, who else would know that you're a hunter, though? And why would they be going after hunters unless...
They may not know that. So, the people that I got the information from, they were not being safe with this information. They didn't know that it could lead to anything dangerous. There's a chance someone caught wind and tried to get rid of anyone that was aware of what happened. when they did this to me, they did not expect anything that I can do. There's no way that they knew that the messengers had contacted me. They thought I was just some person to put in the hospital or kill out on the road, and when they found out I was in the hospital, they sent something there to clean it up. And that's it. That's all they know. Now they know that didn't work. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they went into the situation knowing that I was one of the imbued.
There is some serendipity to a little bit of what we do. We end up being a lot of times in the right place at the wrong time.
We're linked by the messengers, and we're linked by forces we don't understand, but it's true. There are hunters that are changed by what we go through. There are people who don't make it out, the same or at all. It's right to be careful, even on HunterNet.
Dallas, how new are you? If you don't mind my asking. Is this all just happening now?
I think we're coming up on 43 hours.
Fuck. Okay. All right. So, I'm going to say the same thing that I told John and other imbued who come into this. The messengers make their choice based on, I think anyways, who is positioned to do the right thing, and not necessarily whether or not they are the type to do the right thing. And we'll help you out. I think you've lucked out into a good group, but there are bad ones out there.
Gotcha.
Conceal who you are. Do not trust someone simply because they're fellow imbued. That goes for the people here in the circle with you.
It's a little late at this time, but more often than not, you should probably be using some sort of fake name.
Gotcha.
Usually, the circle of hunters, what I recommend is we use the handles that we use on HunterNet. HunterNet has some sort of protection on it. It is safe. If we use those handles, it works perfectly for the people that we're meeting on HunterNet. It all works very nicely, and we don't have to get to know each other so well that we become a risk to each other should someone get captured.
I find it a bit clunky, but fine.
We don't have to include the numbers.
Yeah, you could literally just use the first word, John. It's really easy.
I understand. It's just...
Some words are more passable as names when we are talking to people, taking on a role. Having a name at the ready, not a bad idea.
What do you go by, Todd?
Todd.
No, I don't. I hate when John brings it up. Todd smirks slightly and is like, Maverick.
Dallas visibly rolls his eyes.
There is a very raised eyebrow on Pheia's end.
Yeah, that's why I go by John.
Yeah, I'd rather be awkward and hilarious than dead because I told some chief my name.
Well, don't use your name.
That's my daily affirmation. I'd rather be awkward and hilarious.
Yeah. Beware the chiefs.
The what's?
The chiefs.
The football team?
The self-designated leaders.
Ah.
Gotcha.
They have one view of the hunt, and it's bloody. And they will sweep you up into their crazy and make you a psychotic killer right alongside them, whether you want to be or not. If a chief calls for help, you let their ass fry.
How do we know if they're chiefs?
They'll tell you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So it sounds like Nat dropped Todd off somewhere nearby. Just keep your number so Todd can get in contact with us. And maybe drop Pheia off on the way down. Pheia, keep in contact with us.
Do my best.
We're not too far away. You said you're in Rhode Island somewhere, right?
Narragansett.
You're in Rhode Island somewhere.
Oh, shit. Fuck. Yes, Rhode Island somewhere.
Anyways.
The nebulous state of Rhode Island. It's so large.
Nat is smirking at Pheia. It doesn't seem poor in nature. She seems genuinely amused, but the smile is hanging on for a second longer than you'd think.
I'll take Dallas. We'll hunker down in Manapawset, and tomorrow, maybe we'll do some low-key research about the area without really interacting with people, just to keep our cover as much as possible.
Are we meeting back?
Yeah, we should. I'll give you the address. If you can, meet me back in Manapawset for the go day, and we'll go from there.
Off the top of our heads. Brighton Bay. We don't know if they're a nuclear power site, do we?
Clean coal.
Clean coal, so it's definitely not clean coal. It's been chemically cleaned, so it's actually a lot worse. It's not anthracite because that's used for smaller stuff. It's bituminous, because that's usually what they use for powering shit like that. So if we can disrupt their coal input, is that to our benefit?
I don't know.
Brighton Point was previously a coal-run power plant. Endron has claimed they are fixing that. There is no clear indication that coal is still being used or of interest to Endron.
I believe it's still producing power, though.
No, it is. But it could be like, I don't know, Soylent Green at this point.
Who knows?
Look, I'll be taking a look around and see if I can't figure anything out. I don't know if we're doing industrial sabotage yet, but...
I like that you're embracing the power of yet.
We are engaging in a little bit of corporate espionage, thoh.
Yeah, but we're not really corporate ourselves, so...
I mean,
regular espionage.
I technically work for a corporation.
Don't tell us.
It's incorporated.
Oh, now John wants to keep secrets. All right, cool.
I'm wearing my fucking name badge.
I need a
You
nap.
got here, okay?
Is there anything else we really need to go over just this second?
No, I think we're okay.
Valerian root will help you stay asleep longer.
Oh, I don't want that.
No, it just keeps you from having those little micro moments where you wake up.
He lives by those micro moments.
Yeah,
If you need to be
it's
picked up
appreciated.
when you're ready to get back to the rendezvous, I'll give a ride.
Cool.
Everyone change phone numbers. Make sure, and if you need cash to buy another burner phone afterwards, let me know.
Okay, I'm gonna need that.
Okay.
Like, I'm not made of money, man.
No, that's fine.
Like, what's anti-money? I'm made of that.
Tim, you got flaws on your sheet.
Yep.
Are you okay
With this,
handing
yes.
out money? I can't remember how your flaws work.
If I am offered money,
You can't say no.
I
Correct.
can't, right.
Wait,
I have
wait.
to make willpower checks.
I just want to be nosy. What flaw is this?
Miserly.
I think something like that.
Nosy for the sake of the
Money
audience?
grubbing.
Money grubbing?
Yeah, that's why.
Mine was
I'm asking.
nicer.
Been a little free form with the money. I just want to make sure that we are paying homage to your flaws.
Yeah, no. If people offer me money, I have to make a willpower check to not accept it.
It's well, that
And
won't
follow
come up.
it. I think. I'm not sure if I need to follow it or not, but anyways.
And don't worry about
I
it.
still have to accept the money.
Definitely won't come up.
I can pay you back in, like, some handmade Afghans if you want. I am swimming in those things.
Sounds like a real investment.
I mean, you've just bought a house.
Yeah, it needs to be strewed with Afghans.
I mean, you probably need something.
Look, we'll get back to you. Like, just for now, it's fine. We'll sit her at a
All right.
0% loan and talk about it from there.
All right.
After incredibly long days, the group of you go back to your respective places of rest. Some of you with John in his new house, some of you in your own homes, to fitfully try and rest at all. Dallas, it is a while before sleep manages to take you, despite your exhaustion. But when you do finally drift off, you just do not wake up. You are going to miss basically the entire day.
This may be a little disconcerting to the people he's with, but this is not uncommon for Dallas. He, when he crashes hard and is hard to rouse from his slumber. Part of the reason why he's always chronically late to things. He is well aware of his own sleeping habits, but yeah, he is not easily woken and just is gone.
For those of you who do manage to wake like normal people, the next day passes as you try and live your lives or research a little bit into what is going on in the area. John, you're a visionary. Forewarned is forearmed. Where do you go to try and do some research?
Either most likely Somerset's library, and I'm there to look into weird things happening in and around Brighton Point.
So Brighton Point was a company, they were owned by sort of one of those local, it feels weird to say local power company, but they were owned by the local power company. It looks like it actually got sold to Endron International in 97, like 2 years ago, right? And you can find a lot of going through the old microfiche and looking at old news articles. It looked like this was a thing that was in play for a couple of years. The owners, again, really weird to think of like mom and pop owners of a power station.
Yeah, the local energy company.
But the local energy company was resistant to sell to Endron. And then after their CEO died in a boating accident, the board of directors decided, okay, we don't want to have to deal with this. They couldn't find like a new guy to step in. And so they ended up selling at a reasonable profit to the board.
It sounds like they didn't want any more boating accidents.
There is a history, as you're looking, of accidents. So Brighton Point was spewing fly ash into the air. Again, raised the temperature of Mount Hope Bay, according to this EPA report that you find, by like 2 degrees. A lot of stuff that to talk about in the news, you're like, oh, this is not exaggerated. This is real. According to like some reports from local fishermen, mass die-offs in the area.
Right.
There's a history. I mean, Brighton Point goes all the way back like 100 years. Mm-hmm. Back during World War II, they extended a trench, like a shipping trench, to get the coal in by boat from the federal shipping canal. So they have like a privately owned trench that goes through Mount Hope Bay for large shipping. That goes straight to the point. After Endron took over in 97, they have made a big campaign of like, look, we're here, we're new, look what we're doing, we're fixing everything up. But according to Senator Fitzpatrick, they're just not doing enough. They keep rescinding on their promises. They are not actively doing anything to make the water better. And right now there is a discussion, even though they say they've shut down, they're doing clean coal as one of their fired areas, so they claim. And some of it is natural gas as well now.
Gotcha.
There is a discussion of, well, maybe we should turn this into a nuclear facility. There's some, like, it hasn't gone anywhere yet, and it's definitely getting resistance on that from Senator Fitzpatrick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, New England is highly nuclear power plant resistant.
They are very resistant to nuclear power plants in New England, and there does seem to be a pattern of Endron PR people going and lobbyists going and talking at the state level, and it seems like slowly but surely they are pushing in a direction that Endron wants them to go.
Gotcha. But no weird fishman lore and stuff like that previous that I can see.
The closest you can get to like fishman lore, you get sort of that like weird New England story stuff. So you get like the frog people of Connecticut.
Oh, God.
You get some like old stuff that people built lore off of, like shark attacks.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, it went all the way up the river one time and ate somebody. But then you're like, wait, isn't that what Jaws was based on? That was the Hudson River.
Yeah,
like,
so
no, there's local versions of that.
Yeah, nothing that's really sticking out.
Nothing that really sticks out in terms of local stuff, other than like, every New England thing is like, I saw a crab the size of my head once. Like it was, but nothing that seems, I would say, connected to the things that you're looking for here as far as local myths.
Sounds good.
Nat, you have a little bit of time throughout the day as another one of the people who is not functionally in a coma. You also were going to be looking into a little bit of research, correct?
Yep.
So where are you looking? What are you doing?
So, Nat probably already has to send off some emails, check in with some professors and just make sure that her deadlines are moved around. She's PhD, so she's got a lot of freedom, but that already puts her at the university computer lab. Seems a solid place to start.
So what kinds of things are you looking for?
She is absolutely going to use her scientific studies perspective to go at this, and she's going to come at it with a focus on kind of like the marine biology of the area, the oceanography, the interactivity of the region, and where the ocean, where the shore might be connecting the ocean life with any of these places that are coming up in any of these very legitimate corporate locations, how they might factor into it.
A couple of things. You have a focus in speleology and sort of...
Caves, karsts.
Yeah. A couple of things as you're researching actually do stand out to you, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about marine wildlife first, and then we'll talk about sort of caves and geography. Mm-hmm. So in terms of the marine life that's in the area, there are, not something that people think of a lot, but there are natural populations of squid in the Northwest Atlantic, right? So there's like longfin, shortfin squid. They're usually about 2 feet long, can change color and do all sorts of stuff. There was also at one point, one of the things that sticks out to you about marine populations, beyond the mass die-offs around Mount Hope Bay that were all over the news, partly because fishermen were not bringing things back in. The only ones who seemed to be doing okay was the Hallahan Fishing Company. All the little independent fishermen were losing their jobs, and there was a huge economic downturn because of the lack of fish in the area, and then Hallahan came in and sort of bought up all these independent areas.
Natural conservation is, in fact, one of Nat's specific focuses, although it's usually more in the geological sense.
One of the things you learn is that at one point, off the coast of Cape Cod, was considered to be one of the world's largest great white shark breeding population areas. That is no longer the case. Has not been. Sort of, it seems like the die-off of fish in the area led to less larger predators in the area. And so that has not been true for a while. There are still, obviously, great white populations. There are several species of shark that come up here. The great white is just the most famous of them. Other weird stuff, little things of interest. Marine life from the Caribbean sometimes makes its way up here. There are reports of manatees as far north as Cape Cod, which is bizarre, but definitely happened. Mm-hmm. Local whale populations are also not thriving because of the larger die-offs. Particularly the sperm whale is, it's the state animal of Connecticut, but it also it feasts a lot on the squid. If there's less squid in the area, then it's a whole thing, right?
And efforts such as Save the Whale had not actually started results.
It actually seems like companies like Hallahan specifically are against Save the Whales people because they talk about the economic impact it has on local fishermen.
Yep.
Getting into the geological side of things, as you're looking, there's a couple things that stand out, and you ever had those puzzles where you see different pieces of information and it just tickles like something is wrong here, something is not quite adding up, and then it clicks as you're looking through. Dallas had told you about Texas Tower 2, which was the radar site from the 50s and 60s that had been decommissioned and that Endron said they were buying up as a research site to look into a lot of these animal population decline things, right? That's what they said. You're looking into some information about Texas Tower 2. Now, it was built on St. George's Bank, which is like this large elevated area in, between Cape Cod and Nova Scotia, up in the Gulf of Maine. The region is known as the Gulf of Maine, and it's built on this elevated area in the water. And as you're looking at it, Texas Tower 2 only goes down about 57 feet. Dallas said that they were using a bathysphere to go down and help compression divers all the way down, which is not something that you have to do unless you're going down hundreds of feet. Dallas, just as a surface diver, should be able to go all the way to the base of where Texas Tower 2 exists. And yet they apparently have apparatus that goes way, way deeper. Pheia, you managed to make it to your shift, and on your lunch break, you said you were going to do a little bit of research, a little bit of reading.
So Phea's interest, she is looking into Brighton Point. She wants to know the history of it. When did it crop up? What has its impact been through the years? How did Endron acquire it? What has the impact been since Endron acquired it? And what is the attitude of the local populace towards it? And also, specifically, is it using coal? Is it using natural gas? Is it using nuclear power? What is it using to drive it, to make its power to distribute?
So Brighton Point was built in 57, and a lot of the history and geological impact and local impact is the same things that I just explained to Tim. Your focus being a little bit more on how it interacts with the local populace is interesting. So it is the primary power station for that entire area. Taking that out means a big chunk of southern New England just doesn't have power. It's part of why they have the political capital that they do.
I'm also imagining it gives a lot of jobs to the area.
More than you would think. Endron has done a decent job of maintaining those ties to the community. So when Brighton Point was locally owned, right, they were like a platinum sponsor for the 4th of July festival. They were that kind of thing. They were always doing little outreach things to the community. Does that make up for the fact that they were spewing fly ash in the air and killing all the fish? Probably not.
No.
But they were good about maintaining a public face, a pleasant public face. Endron has maintained the same level. They are a platinum sponsor for the 4th of July celebration this year, and they were last year and the year before that. They didn't lay anybody off. They, in fact, brought new people in. How, doing what? Great question. But they have a very strong public relations team who is making sure that as far as the locals are concerned, you actually see some of the public response to Senator Fitzpatrick's, motion. And a lot of people are pissed off at him. They don't like that he's going after Endron because Endron says, and as far as anyone can tell they are, because they're not spewing ash into the air anymore, as far as
they know.
They're actually doing a job of what seems like they're cleaning stuff up. And, well, yeah, things take time. So, of course, the water temperature hasn't gone down yet, but they're still paying for the sins of the past. You can't expect that kind of thing. And they have done a pretty good job of making the general public pretty happy with their takeover.
Pheia she'll check the clock on the wall and make sure she's got time, but she'll delve into a little bit more side research. She will check the hospitalization and cancer diagnosis rates for the area, both before Endron's takeover and after.
So you don't have access to like the last couple of years, really. There's not published stuff, but in some old articles, you can see that one of the things that Fitzpatrick and some of the other people who were mad at the old ones, the old owners, that rates of like lung cancer and emphysema were higher in the area around Brighton Point than elsewhere. Endron says that they have addressed that. It's part of the reason people are happy with their takeover. There is, however, no published data that you can find.
Interesting. Pheia kind of locks that information away, and she'll check the time and see that she just doesn't have time, and she will hork down a piece of whatever was free on the lunch table and get back to work.
Todd, you were going to check in with Teddy and his dad?
Yes, but I don't have a car to get to them, so I was going to call.
So you call Teddy's dad on the phone to their house?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of late to just show up.
For sure.
Hello?
Oh, hey, it's me, Todd. I had
Todd who?
Oh my goodness, Mr. Keating.
Shit. What did Teddy do now?
What? No, he didn't do anything. He was actually
Teddy, get your ass in here!
he didn't do anything wrong.
Uh-huh. So why is his teacher calling?
I'm actually calling because he was helping with a little bit of research. There's some project going on with the with the shipping trench.
Oh, like what?
I heard you guys had been out fishing there recently, and he had some interesting findings. So I wanted to check on things, make sure that he was interested in having that conversation tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. I checked my Death Finder, and stupid thing was busted. I replaced it. I told him not to get so excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what you get, right? Sure, you buy the cheapest equipment, and sometimes it don't work right.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually happened to me a few times. You didn't find a squid out there, did you?
You find lots of squid out there.
The one that was kept in the jar?
It's late spring, but we're still squidding.
You know what I'm talking about? The one that your son had found?
He finds all sorts of stuff.
With the eye?
Yeah, all squids have eyes. Mr. Keating, aren't you a science teacher?
I am. It was very interesting. Do you still have the squid though?
Look, if you're looking for like bypass the wholesaler or something, we can make a deal. I don't know what you want. You want like some for the classroom or something?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great. I'll bring some squid by the school next week.
Yeah, if you guys are still willing to do that, that'd be great.
Sure, yeah.
I'll get the tank and everything ready.
Okay. Teddy's not in trouble?
No, why do you keep thinking that?
Oh, my God. All right. Well, goodbye, Mr. Keating.
All right, take care. All right, that's bad. All right, and so past relationship with him and his son, has he always kind of been like dismissive / semi-angry, or is this kind of a little bit of a spike in terms of behavior?
When fishing is good, he's a pretty involved, happy parent, and when fishing is bad, the family has money troubles, he's kind of a dick.
Okay, but fishing's kind of good right now.
He said he was catching a bunch of squid. I mean, it's squidding season.
Right, but he sounds like fishing's good and he's being a dick.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to make an empathy roll to see the vibes.
It's over the phone, so we're going to do this at diff 7.
Okay. I am at -2 difficulty.
From what?
I am a good listener. Mm-hmm. And I really want to know. So I will put a point of willpower into this and 3 successes.
With 3 successes, he was slightly too quick to hang up. He was slightly too casual. And he was slightly too hesitant when you asked about specific squid with the eyes.
He was very well prepared.
But he was very well prepared to answer those questions.
Did he seem surprised that I called? Not like in a like.
He
why
seemed
is the teacher calling
surprised
this thing, but, like,
that
I'm alive.
Todd Keating was not in the hospital. And at that point, your dog Rufus comes up to you and starts nuzzling you to go outside and then go to bed in that way that pets who are like, hey man, it's late. Why aren't we asleep yet?
Yeah, it's definitely past their bedtime. I take this gigantic monster brindle mutt and I bring him outside for the bathroom. And then once we get inside, I'll lay out grade papers and hang out with my dog until I ultimately pass out.
Everyone rests as best they can, some better than others. Everyone has done what research they were able into what's happening, at least in regards to Brighton Point and the local marine populations. And then everyone gets together the next day. What's the plan?
Does Pheia have work?
Gary shows up to cover your shift, and he looks perfectly healthy. A little mottled, maybe, but he's wearing a turtleneck. And he's just like, hey, sorry I was weird the other night. I wasn't feeling too good, but Katie's feeling better. I'm feeling better. So if you need to take the day off, I know I bailed on you.
Pheia throws up second sight on him.
Spend a point of conviction.
Yep.
Corrupt. But other than that unsettling sense of wrongness that you get from the second sight, and a little like maybe bruising or purple rash, like purple mottling on like the backs of his hands, kind of. Gary's acting exactly like Gary.
Did you ever figure out what that rash was, buddy?
No, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, but I can cover your shift today. Don't worry about it.
Are you sure you're not contagious?
I mean, I was around Katie for a while, and she didn't catch nothing. Yeah. I saw some other people. Nobody caught anything. I think we're good. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Okay, use the yarrow root balm.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to, like, continue taking antibiotics.
I mean, yeah, but that'll make it stop itching, and it'll help it clear up a little bit.
It doesn't really itch.
Really? That looks like it itches like hell.
No, it's just, I don't know. You don't think it's cancer, right? Don't people bruise when they get cancer?
Lymphoma.
He, like, looks a little concerned at that. Like, it's not that, right?
But, like it doesn't come on that fast, though.
Oh, well, then I'm probably fine then.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
All right.
Hey,
well, you're...
Take the day. I owe you. I'm so sorry for bailing. I got this.
You're in the cooperage today. So
Fuck, can I take that back, actually? I don't want to...
no, you get to go talk to people about the difference between casks and barrels and butt tons and rundlets.
I hate that we're friends, and he,
I know.
walks off.
Pheia kind of, contemplates trying to pick up a spot in another spot in the museum, because realistically she's missed a lot of work, and this is starting to financially be a problem. But reasonably, once the hunt is cleared up for this, whatever this is, she can get back to a normal schedule, maybe pick up a few extra shifts.
Yeah, I'm sure once the hunt is over, you'll get back to a normal life.
Once this particular hunt is over, maybe I can pick up an extra job somewhere. Maybe I can go 10 bar.
So everybody meets back up. You all took a day to rest, to do some research, to tend to your jobs and your personal lives. Dallas, this is the morning when you are supposed to be meeting with President Saunders of the Brighton Point Power Station to discuss your underwater welding career. You are being driven there in the car with John and Nat, and Todd and Pheia are in the neighborhood somewhere nearby. John, you drive up to the security checkpoint around the power station. When given Dallas's name, you are ushered through and allowed to park in the visitor's parking spot. But Dallas, you are informed that your friends can either wait in the parking lot or they can wait in the lobby, but after security checkpoint, it's employees only.
Dallas, most of his things have been just kind of stuffed into a duffel that he takes around everywhere. But he has enough clothes in there that he can kind of slap together a somewhat professional-looking attire, albeit all in black. And despite the fact that it's a little ruffled and having been stuffed in a duffel bag, he somehow has that kind of just ability to kind of make it look like he hasn't been trying, and still, even with some kind of wrinkly clothes, looks put together. So once John parks in the visitor parking lot, he kind of looks over at him and Nat. Does one of you guys want to stay in the car? One of you want to come in the lobby? Maybe get a second pair of eyes on the inside of this place? Or do you guys want to stay outside as a team outside together?
I like the idea of one of us being in closer to you so you're less alone. I could be in the lobby if you want.
Sounds good.
Perfect. So we'll go in. I'll see the interview. You try to get as much eyes as you can on the inside of the place. I'll keep that burner phone on inside my pocket calling to you so you can listen in best to what's going on. If I can figure out what direction I'm heading, maybe you can see through a window. Maybe I'll say, hey, that's a nice easterly view or something like that.
I'll keep an ear out.
Yeah.
I'll stay around the lobby, but I'll do little things. If they have a coffee maker for guests or to go to the bathroom, whatever it is, to just wander a little bit.
All right. Go Team Hunters or something, I don't know.
Stay safe.
He gets out of the... I'm assuming he's in the back. You two are in the front and he's in the back seat.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Nat will walk out with you. She's currently wearing a crisp white t-shirt, some trousers, a nice belt.
Oh, man. Thanks for coming with me, by the way.
You're welcome. For everything that there is to know about being a hunter. I mean, maybe it's just my creed, but one of the more important things to remember is that you're not alone.
How'd you find out what creed you were?
It's confusing at first, for most people anyway. Sometimes you can think about what brought you into all this, and, well, I guess it's fair to say that the way that my eyes were opened is, I guess, a bit classic for an innocent ex-girlfriend. Well, she wasn't my girlfriend at the time. She was a scared girl at the university library who hated the dark. And, I could tell that something was up with her, that she needed a friend, but I didn't really know why. And, well, I guess the messengers chose me for being someone who could be a friend. Now, things get a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, don't they always?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I think last year I was showing off metal sculptures of mine in New York and Boston. Things were going well. And then I decided to beat the shit out of a gallery owner that had some really dumb fucking things to say to me. And after, kind of burning bridges with everyone in my career field, I decided to just start welding underwater. So really, I don't know, messengers chose me from really bad fucking judgment calls. I don't know.
That's not... Oh, look, I don't know your situation, but I doubt that's why.
Yeah.
I said it was an ex-girlfriend, but it's not that simple, right? You meet someone, they're not what you think they'd be. I mean...
So was this ex of yours a monster of some kind?
Well, you could use the word monster if you want.
I mean, literally, are they, one of the things that we see or the messengers tell us about? I'm not trying to be clever about, hey, my ex is a monster. You know what I mean?
No, I get that. Well, she was a shifter, like I was talking about.
Gotcha. Thank you for dumbing down the category for me.
Well, I was, I guess, trying to not scare anyone. No one seemed to like it before when I mentioned that people could turn into insects. So, a cockroach shifter might be a little too far out for a couple people. I guess what I'm bringing her up for, and, to answer your question and to tie into whether you think that the messengers picked you because something rash or wrong with you. That relationship did not work out. There's a lot to do with being supernatural. I wasn't picked just because I was friendly or accepting or whatever it was. The opportunity was presented that I could do something right, and I took it. I think sometimes that has more to do with it, regardless of what your flaws are, regardless of what your doubts are, and regardless of how this hunt changes you.
Right. All right, well, we'll talk more about this in a little bit. Let's just sign in.
Sounds good.
The two of you enter sort of a large, well-lit lobby. There are marble floors. Looks weirdly nicer than you would expect for an old, kind of out-of-date power station. There is one door that leads further into this facility, and in front of it, and slightly to the side, is a wraparound desk, and there is a very attractive woman, uncomfortably, actually, attractive woman, sitting behind the desk. And she looks up and goes, "Mr. McCoppin?" And looks right at you, Garrett.
He flashes a smile at her. That's me.
President Saunders has been expecting you. Please, if you could just sign into the guest book. And I'm sorry, your friend here will have to wait in the lobby, but we do, and she waves a hand over, we do have amenities, little things to make it more pleasant. And there's some seating nearby with some plants, little plastic plants, but still look nice in the sun. There's a little coffee station, and they have like a little bags of chips and stuff for people to take. There's some restrooms right next to it. So please, have a seat. And then, Mr. McCoppin, I have this. Please do not lose this. And she hands over a little plastic badge that says visitor. After some of the, unfortunate terrorist activities and things that have been going on, we've had to really step up security. So please do not lose this badge. It's for your safety and ours.
You can count on me.
Okay.
No worries.
Perfect. And she gives you this beaming smile. And also gives a beaming smile to you, Nat. She seems very, very pleasant and very, tailor-made to welcome people into this space.
As soon as, a beautiful woman shoots this beaming smile at Nat, It is impulsive and immediate that Nat gives her this sincere grin back. And she kind of holds the grin while she's saying, I was hoping there'd be coffee.
Nat, roll me an appearance expression for first impressions.
Is this my first impression?
You are making a first impression.
Okay. I'm asking because I wasn't sure if my flaw from
No, I'm
last
very
fall
aware of your
was
flaw.
relevant or not. So does my appearance spec of gay count here?
Yes.
I didn't feel like writing anything else.
It can apply, therefore it does apply right now.
So your appearance spec is gay?
Yeah. 1 success.
Okay, understood. She sort of smiles and continues to smile pleasantly and sort of indicates the seating nearby and then goes back to typing on her computer. Dallas, you are handed this plastic visitor badge and she looks at you and goes, just hold it up to the security pad by the door and you'll be let right in.
Rob, I would like to be able to use discern, but I'm not actually clear on what circumstances in which that manifests.
You are not currently clear. If you have some thoughts or ideas, I will say that I have given a couple of hints. And if you have some ideas...
While Nat is flirting with the desk girl, Dallas is trying to figure out how to get himself to see the things around himself that he's always been able to. And he's in frustration, he just kind of like throws his head back and remembers that flash of lightning, the flash of the flashlight. And he just kind of opens his eyes and looks directly up into the lighting that's casting this large marble reception area in such particularly good view. And he stares directly into the lights for a second until he feels something click. And he turns his discerning eye down to this reception area. I will risk a point of conviction on this perception zeal roll to activate discern.
Absolutely. That is your one per scene.
And the fact that I'm exacting would
yes, to pick out details, absolutely.
Perfect. Just 2 successes.
So for the next 20 minutes, you will be able to view the world under the effects of discern.
Perfect.
Dallas is now one step closer to understanding the edge, the gift that has been given him by the messengers. The edge discern helps you to pick out little details. Now, it doesn't tell you exactly like, oh, this is a vampire, oh, this is a werewolf, but it gives you the ability to notice little things about a supernatural thing that is off, along with being able to see in bright lights or darkness. When you turn your gaze on the receptionist, you see that when I said she was uncomfortably beautiful earlier, I meant that. She looks too perfect. And as you look at her under the effects of discern, it's almost like someone has done a little too much plastic surgery. So they look too perfect to the point of looking almost not quite human. And what you notice is that as she is now looking back at Nat with that very nice smile, she takes out a little tube of lipstick that has the word Siren Cosmetics on it and applies the lipstick. And as she applies the lipstick, it's not that her lips look redder and plumper, it's that her lips are redder and plumper. Nat, she engages in very pleasant conversation with you. She seems very eager to just talk and make your stay here in the waiting room as pleasant as possible.
Dallas, as he's heading deeper in, tries to catch Nat's eyes to give her a look of like, careful to getting too close to that thing, but doesn't really seem like he's able to do so.
Nat's not pushing an agenda. She's enjoying getting to talk to a pretty lady.
Yeah.
I'm not sure my chances here on catching eye contact and catching messages. She still cares about the objective, but...
This is a little not exactly how this plays out, but I am because of your flaw, Nat, not going to let you catch eye contact right
Yeah, I think that's the better way to run that. Like,
Yeah.
that's
That's fair.
Dallas tries to give her a warning glance, but it seems like she's already been trapped.
My eyes are occupied. I'm making coffee without looking at it.
Dallas,
Yeah.
as you buzz into the door and step into the hallway beyond, there is sort of a short, kind of stocky guy there wearing a suit, and he goes, You're Mr. McCoppin, right?
I am.
Okay. Please write this way. The president, he's in a meeting right now, but we'll get you sit down and comfortable. Can I get you a coffee or anything like that?
No, thanks. I've already taken care of myself before the meeting.
Okay. Well, you need anything at all? You just before Mr. Saunders is ready for you. Let me let me know. Just ask for Antonio, and I'll get anything you want. Okay. Well, anything we got. We got coffee. That's what we got.
I understand, Antonio.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Thank you for your hospitality.
Absolutely. And he leads you past all sorts of like cubicles, and this looks like, to all intents and purposes, even under the effects of discern, a normal workplace. All these people are normal workers.
Right.
And then you are sat and brought to like a little meeting room, like a conference room, basically. And you are brought in, and Antonio looks at you and goes, Are you sure there's nothing I can get you?
I'm sure.
Okay. Mr. Saunders' office is just right next door. He'll be in a second. He's meeting with a consultant right now.
Outstanding.
Okay. And he steps out and closes the door, and you are left alone in this conference room. There's a long, heavy wooden table, some office chairs around it. There are books on the wall. It almost looks like a legal space, kind of. More plastic plants just for decoration. And a couple portraits up on the wall.
It is also the 90s and an office. Are there any ashtrays in here?
Absolutely. In fact, you have not seen a single no smoking sign despite the fact that this is a power plant. On the wall is a portrait of Thomas Saunders. He's a like big, jowly, kind of heavy set guy with a really like receding hairline. But it's done in that classical portrait style. Pretty boring, not particularly interesting art, but it is that sort of presidential portrait style that you're going to see a lot of these old guys do.
Right.
It's there next to a second portrait of this like businessman with black hair, Texas oil man look, and a cowboy hat. This portrait looks like either the artist sucks or it's aged wrong or whatever, because the white in the portrait, like the whites of his eyes, are like kind of yellowed in the portrait. So whether he did a bad job or whatever, that's how it looks. And that's Endron President Max Carson. And then next to that is a portrait of this like really old industrialist from like the 1800s labeled Jeremiah Lassiter. And underneath each, under the portrait of Lassiter is our founder, under the portrait of Carson is our president, and under the portrait of Saunders is our CEO. Did you smoke while you're in here?
Yeah, after a couple of minutes.
Just a couple of minutes.
He sits there trying to resist, but then gives in to the fact that he needs a smoke so bad. It's just going to help calm his nerves. He'll be fine. And you know what? They put ashtrays in here for a reason.
As you are sitting there, just smoking and waiting for whenever your meeting is supposed to start, you start hearing yelling from the office next to you. The one that Antonio had sort of indicated was Saunders' office. And what you hear, muffled, but you can still pick it out, is,
I don't give a fuck who you are, Queen. This is my station and my project. How the fuck? I don't give a shit if you have higher up connections. How do you get your own fucking first team? Special tag is my fucking ass. Get the goddamn hell out of my office. You're a contractor. You're not in charge here.
and then you hear a much softer, muffled voice you can't quite make out. And yet, despite the fact that you can't quite hear what this person is saying, the whisper of their voice sends shivers up your spine. Just hearing the hint that they may be talking sets your hackles up. And then you hear a door open in the office next door. You hear something smash against a wall as if it was thrown in anger. And then the door to your room calmly opens. Now, because of the portrait, you know what Thomas Sanders is supposed to look like.
Saunders, right?
Saunders. The man who enters is not Thomas Saunders. The man who enters is thin, average height. He has hair that is kind of slicked back. He's wearing a pair of reflective shades indoors, black gloves, a black suit with a white shirt and a black tie, pale skin, not like sickly pale, just like a white guy who has an easy life.
Yeah.
And he looks at you and goes, "Hello, Mr. McCoppin. I'm sorry we've kept you waiting."
Do I still get that same shiver?
You have discern up. And when you look at this man, you get that same sense. He actually, when he comes in, takes off his glasses, his reflective shades. And for a second, you are sure that you are going to see hourglass pupils. But you don't. However, you have discern up, and it picks out little details that otherwise you wouldn't. And you notice that his blue eyes, deep blue eyes, have little circles in them, and he is very clearly wearing contacts.
Yeah.
And he gestures to a seat at the other end of the table, not at the head of the table, like he's kind of still waiting for Saunders to come in. And his eyes linger for a second on the portrait of Jeremiah Lassiter. And then he sits down and says, "It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Klieg. I am an underwater drilling consultant for Endron. And I heard that you are interested in becoming one of our new saturation divers."
Path of Night, Brine and Blood is an actual play Hunter the Reckoning podcast set in the world of darkness. Dallas McCoppin was played by Garrett Gabbey. John Spencer was played by Tim Davis. Pheia Quinn was played by Erika Webb. Nat Chowdhurani was played by Rebecca Steigelfest. Todd Keating was played by Lex Lopez. Your storyteller was Rob Muirhead. This episode edited by Rob Muirhead. The theme music used in this episode was Sadness Room by Denis Goncharov. Find their music online at pixabay.com. Character art by Jay Steele. Find more of their work at Steele Art on Bluesky. Brine and Blood uses the revised edition of Hunter the Reckoning with few limited house rules. Hunter the Reckoning and the World of Darkness are owned by Paradox Interactive. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you find your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/pathofnight. You can help support the show at ko-fi.com/pathofnight. And you can find us at Path of Night Podcast on Bluesky, Twitter, and Facebook, or email us at pathofnightpodcast@gmail.com. Take back the night, hunters.
You guys switching flaws?
Yeah, we're just looking at each other's flaws.
Let's see.
I forgot what Dallas's are. I remember yours and yours and yours and yours.
His flaws are that he's a 20-year-old troublemaker.
You ready for this? Chronically late.
Right.
Cultural snob. Vice, Morley's. Probation. Short temper, heavy sleeper. That's why I haven't gone to sleep, is because once I go, I'm fucking out.
What about you, Erika?
Allergies, demanding career, medicated, eccentric appearance, youthful appearance.
My two are money grubbing and unlucky.
I have not forgotten. That one I did not forget.
My flaws are lustful, Monstrous connection, honest to a fault, and clannish family.
I have children dogged by fringe media, demanding career, and nosy neighbors.
I also have too many merits to fit on the merit lines.
It's Hunter.
Yeah.
I filled my flaws.
I have 3 merits to start with good.
Supportive family, upright citizen, dual nationality, sea legs, healthy skepticism.
Approachable, enchanting voice, can't you tell?
What's up, sailor?
So you might want to revisit that one.
I'm taking that into consideration, Tim, of course. Funny, good judge of character, perfect balance, and sea legs, and trivia champ.
Erika, we love your voice.
I know. It's
You
perfect.
specifically also made a character whose voice is all fucked up.
Yes, I did.
So,
To me, it's not just the tone, it's the use of it.
So what?
I'ma suck that dick. Wee-oo.
Yeah.
Again, it's not Wynn. Wynn does not have enchanting voice for that reason. She makes the beep boops for social advancement.
Oh, man. All right, say it on 3, boys. 1, 2, 3. Sexy.
Yeah, all the boys took sexy.
Flexible job and good right hook.
Bisexual disaster was not a thing I could take.
I took
so.
sea legs, good night sight, good listener, natural leader, sexy, and good right hook.
I
Hook
have
is so good.
smooth, sexy, bargain hound, independent income, and paid mortgage.
Thank God. I thought I was the only one who didn't take sea legs for a second, and I was like, oh my God.
I don't live in the ocean. What is
I'm the
this?
only one who works on the ocean,
Yeah.
too, and I'm like, fuck this place.
I work on the ocean.
Water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My career field will absolutely be in the ocean.
We should have had Garrett take natural swimmer
Yeah.
and blood dim tides.
Yep.
Or
It's dope.
Is that a thing?
It
Yes,
is-
it
yes.
is.
I would say, or the
You
opposite.
can take it. Yeah, you
Doesn't
can
know
take
how
it
to
post
swim.
race.
And it totally buffs your swim speed, which is fucking great.
I didn't.
I think it's only, is it a 1 or 2 point?
Something that I would have taken.
It's I think it's a 2 point, but I can't remember.
I got it. Hold on. Milo Sombra has it.
Correct.
Slut.
Slut.
I'm also amused by the fact that he could also doesn't know how to swim.
No, because he's actually a diver.
Just underwater welder, just like, yeah, I don't know how to swim.